Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Cristiano, your host, the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs covering all things theater. And I have a really special guest today, my friend, Eric Dever, the artist, and you have a new exhibition right now at the Barry Campbell Gallery in Manhattan. Tell us about it.
Well, thank you, Patrick, and especially for having me on and to talk about the show.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. I love your work.
It's nice to be able to share it with your audience too, and I couldn't be more pleased with the exhibition, and of course I worked quietly in my own space for a number of years to accumulate this work over time, and so. When it's up on the walls in the gallery, it's a very exciting thing for me.
It's at the Barry Campbell Gallery, they're at the old gallery because they have a new gallery too.
Yes.
But you're at 530 West 24th Street in the gallery district there, just between 10th and 11th.
That's correct.
And they have a new gallery too on 524 West 26th. So you're going to be the last exhibition in the old gallery, and you've been with them for how long now?
This is my third exhibit, and I was one of the first artists they signed in 2013, and so we're at 9 years so far, and I couldn't be happier. And it's nice to close out the space this way too. And one of the added benefits is of course the gallery and Christine and Martha, they install the whole exhibit, but. I do have the entire space, which sort of makes it a bit like in my mind, a museum show.
and now the show's going to be up until October 15th.
Yes.
So there's plenty. I'm going tomorrow. I can't wait. I'm so excited to see it because I love your work. But we had some installation photos, just a few. Let's show our audience the installation photos. This is so that piece on the left. That's how big?
That is 6 feet by 12 feet.
So it's 12 feet long by 6 feet high. It's just it looks fabulous.
Thank you. The title is Lily of the Nile, and it's based on also an agapanthus.
And the other one?
The other one is titled Amaryllis and Alteo. It's a amaryllis flower that blossomed for the first time in 4 years, despite my care, and it seemed to me one of the reasons that clinched the title to look at things in bloom. With this thing blooming for the first time in 4 years, I thought it's a sign.
So, we have more installation. A couple more installation photos I want to show. I love it. They look fabulous. All this stuff together looks fabulous.
Thank you.
And there's one more installation photo I want, because we're going to break down the artwork. And those the Birds of Paradise, is that what?
Yes, this is one of the benefits of having an additional room in the gallery, is that Christine Barry organized some of the California-inspired works in this room, and so we see the Bird of Paradise plant, which for me is reminiscent of flying fish and birds, and then also a glimpse of a sea arch in the Central Coast around near Monterey.
Now, all of your work is an exploration of nature,
Yes,
and
yeah.
you come from California, but you did your final degree work here in New York. Where did you?
I went to New York University, and it's called the Steinhardt School, and I was there. I graduated in 1988.
Getting to be an old man, are you?
Yes, it's true.
I'm joking.
It's
You're
true.
a young guy.
Yeah.
You're a very
Well, but
young
I think
guy.
for people in creative professions, though, we hit our stride later in life, which is nice.
Because you're accumulating in a different kind of way.
Exactly.
You're pulling things. But we have more pictures. Now we have some pictures from the exhibition. Now, let's have the first one. Now this is you in front of that large painting. It just really shows you how big this is. The size of this painting. It's like the scale, it's amazing.
Thanks, Patrick. I don't really like to pose in front of my pictures, but I thought it was necessary to establish the sense of scale. When these are posted on social media, they often look like very nice postage stamps. But the truth is, they're large paintings and very gestural.
Okay, but we have another one from the exhibition. Now, this is what is this, a whole painting or the detail of that?
It's another whole painting. I titled this one Agapanthus, just to distinguish, but it's the same, it's based on the same plant. And I had worked on a couple of versions of this, trying to enter into how to explore this. And so this is just another iteration of the same painting, or same subject, rather.
But not all of your work is an exploration of nature.
Yes.
I mean, and it's a perspective that you've gotten from California and now here on Long Island. So you're getting two. What's the difference? How does it?
I was thinking of them in terms of latitude, really, and so California is a more subtropical parallel, and so around the world, and so certain plants grow in this zone, and the degree of sunlight, the brightness is different, but then in the north, or northern latitudes, some of the things it's a maybe deeper shadows here, but one of the phenomena that I enjoy, somehow trying to pull it into my work, is this idea of the gloaming or l'air bleu. And so often I cite many of my paintings in this summer period between between June and this time this year, and when the twilights seem to last for an hour or so. And
Wow.
that's the big chief difference for me.
And now your exhibition also came with a catalog.
Yes.
Which I hear is really beautiful too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now let's look at some more of the images from the exhibition.
This is Amaryllis and Alteo again. I've titled it after really the Greek myth about the woman, the goddess Amaryllis, who presents herself to Alteo, and he's not particularly interested. He's interested in flowers, really, and so she presents himself and pierces her heart with a golden rod, according to the advice of the Delphic oracle. And on the last day of this exercise, he opens the door and he finds this plant and the plant, to me, it just seems very cardiac in a certain respect. And I didn't avoid that while painting it. And of course, the meaning shifted here, but I stayed with that.
Now all your stuff is really layered too. It's like how many layers like is in one piece?
Well, and this is a good example. One can see through to that palish flower in the sort of in the background, and that's sort of a first pass, and then the other brush strokes that went into the top red form constitute another, and as well as some of the green, and then I went back in and I painted out the background, which was a similar green, into that blue hue, and so that would constitute another layer. So there's about six layers of this, and it's somewhat similar to maybe how someone might work in printmaking.
Even like the large painting that's like 6 by 12 is.
That's more. That's
more layers.
Yeah, that's a lot of back and forth. That took quite a while to achieve.
You can take the painting now. You don't have to leave it up that long. I don't know if you still have it on or not. But so that does take much longer, and you have more layers when you do something that is that big.
You know, it's for me, it's a kind of searching. I'm ultimately doing this for myself, and it's something I would like to see or know about. It's just that I don't know what it is when I start, and so it's something that reveals itself.
Nobody ever knows what their life is until they.
Exactly.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe in that, and I think that's part of the the hook as far as the interest in continuing to work on something for a number of months. It's that it takes stubbornness as well, but it is that curiosity really of what I'd like. What would you like to see? And so I give that to myself.
So we have some more images from the show up close. Well, a rose.
This is an interesting one here, and the Gail Levin, who wrote the essay, she's also the author of Lee Krasner, a biography, and she brought tremendous experience to what she's delivered in this work. And
Since you spoke about her, you can take the image down while we chat a bit. But since you spoke about her, I just wanted, because she wrote the essay, the introduction to the catalog.
she wrote the entire catalog.
Well, I have a quote. I just want to read one thing
Oh, yes, please.
that she wrote, because I thought it kind of speaks to you and the work, and I thought it probably encapsulated a lot. Devers' new pictures do not seek to replicate nature, but instead vibrate between representation and abstraction, a kind of rhythmic dance expressing both what he later recalls in his mind's eye and simultaneously how exhilarated he feels while he loses himself in nature. That's awesome.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful writing, and but it's part of Gail's great skill and talent.
But it's also insightful into what you do,
Well,
because your whole thing is about relating to nature and how it affects you and what it looks like. It's so specific.
I'm so happy about it. She's really teased out something from the story that I'm not really so able to speak about so eloquently, and yet I feel I own that. I take that. I'll take it.
You do own it.
Yeah, thank you. I feel it. It's true. It resonates with me, as well as that painting of that.
Okay, we can go back to the next painting. Yeah, you want to go back to the previous one? No, the next one.
That orange one, I think.
Sorry, my bad.
That's okay. Wow. This almost has a Van Gogh quality to it in a way. Tell us
You
about.
want me to speak about
Yeah.
this? This is one that is for me is evocative of California, and the title is Agaves. I didn't want to locate it in place because it's really more about painting, but I do find some of those hues in the landscape, and the pink corresponds to a blossoming ice plant. The agaves themselves create these beautiful plumes, and periodically, and so that's what I included in that, including the cypress.
How big is that one?
That one is 36 by 3 by 4 feet.
So that's a smaller one.
That's kind of that's the range of my scale, really, is
Right,
from.
no, but I'm just joking.
Yeah.
But in terms of your large paintings, it's a little smaller.
It's a little smaller. It's comfortable.
We have some more images from the show too, from the exhibition.
Oh, this one is titled Central Coast, and again, it's not a specific place, but through just working with the paint and scraping it down and applying more paint, to me it became a little bit like the sensation of rain and fog, which we so need. Our water has become something of almost a fetish when we actually do have rainfall.
And this looks like you've done a lot of scraping on this one. This one,
I did, and I think I felt it was successful.
I do too.
And needed some, but I went back in and I refined a few areas to just bring some focus to the center, and work with a little bit thicker paint, and that's what I do. And so I'm very happy with that one.
And where does your first inspiration come from, like when you start something?
Often I begin with a very loose, easy line with a paintbrush, and just very wet. And so I have a very simple sketch, and I don't prepare preliminary sketches. I work directly on the canvas, and then I begin to just apply the paint onto different areas in a sort of a transfer matter that's referred to as decalcomania.
Wow.
And it's something that Max Ernst and other artists during the I think he invented it in Germany in the 20s, but many people come to this naturally on their own, and so it helps me to just not think so much but about forms, but really consider a color and building a surface. That's really my beginning. And then I have that fragile drawing underneath that I can either let go of or add to.
Wow. So we have about 10 minutes, and there's a few more images we want to show from the show. So let's go on with these.
This one this painting is probably the most content or driven or editorially at least. The title is Tipping Point, and
Meaning, why did you come up with that?
it's interesting because these paintings, the meaning sort of shifts while I'm working, and I came across a beautiful plume on Main Street in Sag Harbor from a yucca plant just growing on Main Street in front of someone's house, and I took a picture of it, and I began working with the form, but this was, it also grows on the West Coast, but this was happening during the terrible fires in California and Oregon last year, and family and friends were complaining about the ash and how uncomfortable it was, and then about that time I noticed that our skies, these clouds brought the smoke all the way to the East Coast, and it was coloring the shape of our sun. And so I sort of leaned into that whole idea, and some of the background I allowed to sort of appear ashen-like, and interestingly, those yucca plants have this incredible capacity for air purification and circulation as long as they're not killed. And so for me, it becomes a meditation on where we are in global warming, and I could say I'm about 51% optimistic and 49% pessimistic about the
About us
outcome.
getting over, taking care of the issue?
Yeah, I don't, it doesn't, it's,
I don't know. I'm not 51. I'm optimistic at the moment. You know,
I'm barely optimistic.
you're being kind, I
Yeah.
think. So let's not digress.
Yeah.
So what's the next painting from the exhibition? These are all wonderful. I love them all.
Patrick, thank you.
I can't wait to see the show tomorrow.
I'm so glad you will. This is a painting closer to home, but this is Orient Point on the North Fork. More specifically, it's the body of water. It was considered Narrow River, and across the way are I believe it's Block Island Sound,
It is.
and it's just there's a Land's End quality to it, and to that area, as well as Montauk, and I'm interested in both those places to just visit and also to work with. They're inspiring.
They're quite extraordinary to be there too. You've captured a very interesting.
Thank you.
So we have now. This is Gail Levin, who wrote the catalog. Which one is she?
Gail Levin is on the. She has the bag on,
Uh-huh.
and with the floral motif on her dress, and and Christine Berry, co-partner, owner of Berry Campbell. Martha's not pictured, but
Martha Campbell is the other owner.
but this is Christine, and I'm so happy to have them together in this picture. It's nice. It's nice.
And then they're standing in front of a painting, which I think we have next. Is that right?
Yes. This is a rose from my studio garden, but I've tried to work with it in a fresh way, and a number of the roses that I have painted, I've titled them after heroines or figures from literature, and this one is titled after playwright Joe Pinturo's character,
A local playwright, no
local-
less.
local playwright, whose character, Philomena Lazara, at the end of the play is poised to leave her apartment and is on the front steps, and she suffered from agoraphobia and there was some terrible abuse that occurred within her family, but she's poised to step off the steps for the first time to meet a car service and to go back to Sicily. And so I thought that somehow that flower, it just reminded me of her in the character. And how can we separate our mind from the things we see? It's these associations. They happen, and I'm so happy about that.
That's cool.
Thank
It's
you.
very interesting. Now, just recently you had a discussion or a talk at the Pollock Krasner House, and you talked about nature into art, which is the emphasis of practically everything you do. So, tell us, share a little bit of what
Oh.
you shared with them at this.
Oh, certainly. I was so proud to do that. It was during the tail end of the pandemic, and this was supposed to be a Zoom program, but I have very poor connectivity in my studio, and so they said, why don't you just come over and we'll set you up in Jackson and Lee's studio, and you could do it from there. And so I was
cool.
so happy about it. And so we spoke about my origins, and largely this just happened in probably half a year ago, and so it follows the path of this exhibition at Berry Campbell as well. But I think I mentioned about Jackson Pollock was asked by Hans Hofmann about his response to nature and how is he inspired by nature. I just don't see that in your work. And Jackson Pollock said, well, I am nature. And Hans Hofmann became very upset and stormed down the steps of their apartment in the city. But it's true. We are nature. We have all of the elements of the planet and stardust in us, and so
Stardust in us?
yeah. I mean, from this whole idea of planets and the minerals and.
I never thought of that concept of having stardust in us. I think it's really interesting.
It's there. We're part of it's part of creation.
So we have to cultivate more of our stardust energy. We have to.
I think it's true, and I think it has to do with that song about that was popular. I don't know if it was Stephen Sills but Joni Mitchell. Joni Mitchell wrote it, but about we've got to get back to the garden.
Oh yes.
It's in there, and
so you're getting back to the garden in every way you know how.
I think it's one of the only things that we can really hold. It's a promise that's just fulfilled daily in everything that's around us. It's just for us to tune in or self-identify with it really.
Reflect on as an image reflection of ourselves.
Exactly, to find ourselves in it. It's really the height of some of the pursuits of yogis and swamis.
Now, you studied yoga.
I did, yes. I still do. I still practice yoga, and my interests seem to they shift over time.
So do you sit every day?
I don't have practice the asana or the posture every day, but there are 8 limbs to yoga, which include thought, meditation, concentration, and also trying to do one's best to disengage and release. And so, if I'm not doing a physical practice, I'm certainly thinking about those
But
others.
do you think your yoga is the foundation of everything you do?
No, I think it's part of it, but
It just facilitates it.
but it explains a lot to me, and it offers a glimpse of a kind of integration that's possible for all people. But that's a lifetime.
So it does facilitate, is what it
It
does.
helps. It gives me a pathway in some respects, and but so does my painting as well. So they both do.
So we're close to out of time, but your exhibition is going to be at the Barry Campbell Gallery until October 15th. And again, it's at 530 West 24th Street. So I hope people will get over and see it. I can't wait to go tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. And we have a new guest. I just want to show Truman off. Come here, Truman. Truman's been here, and he's been well behaved all through this. Look at Truman. Say hello out there, Truman. Right out that way. Look at the guests. Look at yes.
Darling.
Thank you for letting us. Thank you for coming to do this.
Thank
you for
you.
letting me show off Truman.
Thank you. Well, we love Truman.
Truman's an angel. Yes.
You should bring him to the gallery too. They'll like him.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Eric, thank you so much. I love your work.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity to see you and Barry again.
Well, it's
too.
always great to see you too.
Look,
So thank you again.
thank you.